Fantastic. All right. So, Frank, do you want to kick off, and then I'll take over. Tell us the purpose of the meeting and welcome us.
Okay, no, that's fine. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this meeting. I have been in discussion with many of you over this past weeks, and so many of you have been asking me, how do we get guests to meetings and how do we convert them from guests to members so that we can enhance our mission. And this evening, we're privileged to have past District Governor Erich Viedge to run this workshop and share his wisdom in as far as how we can be able to grow our clubs so that we can have distinguished or successful meetings. So Erich, over to you. Thank you so much for to facilitate this workshop. I'm also looking forward to this meeting.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, you'll be...
Just let me know on what?
You're being recorded.
Okay, yeah, no, I saw that. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Frank. I'm very pleased to be able to present this information. I'm currently the president of Melrose Arch Toastmasters Club, which started out as a corporate club and is now a community club. And I also started the Greenside Toastmasters Club from scratch. So I know something about how to build a club from scratch, and also how to build a club that has fallen on hard times. So when I took over at Melrose Arch Toastmasters, we must have had 6 members or something like this. And we've currently got 15 members. Of course, now the semi-annual dues are coming, so we'll see how many renew, but I'm convinced that this year we will be distinguished. So that's quite a big jump for us. You know, last year was a very tough year for the club. I only joined in about April last year. So the first thing we need to ask you, well, I'm going to just take you through some basic marketing techniques or basic marketing principles, and then I'm going to discuss 7 specific techniques that you can use to build your club. And then at the end, we're going to have a short discussion. So I'm going to talk for about half an hour or 20 minutes or half an hour. And then at about 10 to 9 or 9 o'clock, I'll hand over to the rest of us, and then we can have a discussion. The reason I do it that way, and rather than having questions during the presentation, is because the internet can be quite slow for some of us. Certainly my connection is not the fastest in the world, and when everybody's online, then the audio suffers and so on. So I'm hoping that you can all hear me clearly, and I'll try to speak a little bit slowly. So that's what I look like. This is my official district governor photograph, and this is a little bit more recent. I downloaded this templates from the internet at toastmasters.org. They've got some lovely resources there, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about those resources. Notice also I'm using the correct fonts. This font over here is called Gotham. This is the headline font, and this is a font called Myriad Pro. Both of these are commercial fonts, unfortunately, so they have to be bought. Oh, Frank, don't you see the presentation? I thought you said you could see the presentation. I thought you said you could see it. Is that better? And now? Can you see it now? Can you see the presentation?
Well, it's coming. It's coming. Yes, I can see it now.
All right. Okay. All right. So all right. So the first thing you have to worry about when you are thinking about marketing is who is your target market. So this is quite an interesting thing to think about, because your club has got a unique character. So, for example, my club, Melrose Arch Toastmasters Club, we meet at 5:30 on a Tuesday. And so our target market is not people with children necessarily. Our target market is people who are just coming from work, and ideally who work in and around Melrose Arch, because that's where our club is. It would be very silly to try to target people who come from far away. So that is what we call a geographic target market. So how do we think about target markets? One way to think about them is geographic. Another way of thinking about your target market is what we call demographic, coming from the Greek word demos, meaning person, demographic. And here you're thinking, are we attracting young people? Are we attracting old people? Is it women? Is it men? Is it a particular language group? These are all the things that are part of who you are, demographic, right? So in our case, we're attracting people who are ambitious, and people who are, most of our clubs are mid-career professionals, people who've hit some kind of management level and realize that actually being able to speak and to articulate their message in public a bit more effectively is a good idea. So those are the people we're targeting. A Saturday morning club, for example, might be targeting mothers, because a mom can't really leave the house during the night, but a mom can certainly leave the house on a Saturday morning and leave the kids with the dad. And so that would be your demographic target market. And then finally, a psychographic target market. That's the last way of segmenting a target market. This is, what are your interests? So I know that in Dubai, for example, there's a club that meets just after the yoga class. So they've got women there. So in that society, women and men don't mix, and so this way the women can come to the Toastmasters club, and they meet at something stupid like 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. They have yoga from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, and then they have their Toastmasters meeting. There are also debate clubs. There are also specialized advanced clubs, and so on. So you could also you could have your club say, we are going to target a certain interest group, people, petrol heads or whatever. Okay, so, bikers, whatever. So those are the three ways of looking at your target market. So in our case at Melrose Arch, we are a mid-career professional. So what are our mid-career professionals looking for? That's what you have to ask yourself. I promise you they are not looking for Toastmasters. That's the problem. You see, we think of Toastmasters as Toastmasters are important and we like Toastmasters, but in our case at Melrose Arch, they're not looking for Toastmasters. What are they looking for? Think about it. They're looking for a career boost. Isn't that right? So they're looking for a career boost. Okay. Then what else would they be looking for? They might be looking for. They might be looking to socialize. So our Saturday morning club, for example, those people might just want to socialize with some people, get out there and be a bit more social. Some people they want to change careers. They want to change careers. Some people are looking for a leadership opportunity. So certainly when I took on the district governor role, that was what I was looking for. I was looking for a leadership opportunity. Why? Because I was self-employed, and I'd been self-employed for a long time. And I kind of felt that I needed an opportunity to exercise my leadership in a big corporation, so that when I spoke to my clients, I could speak with some authority. And Toastmasters is a big organization, 2,500 people. And so when I led that team and we succeeded, that was quite nice, because then I could go to my clients and I could say, I have succeeded also in a big corporation. Hi, Fatima. Right. So just to go, who's our target market? That's the first thing you have to ask about. Secondly, what are they looking for? Those are the the first two questions you ask. They are not looking for Toastmasters. That's the most important insight you can come to. They are who they are, and they are looking for something that is not Toastmasters. Now, the next question, I did an online marketing course a couple of weeks ago, And I got this from that course. It's quite an interesting idea. Where are they looking for this? So they are looking for a career boost. They're looking to socialize. They're looking to change careers, maybe. Certainly, one of my members, she's just resigned from her job this week, actually, and she joined Toastmasters so that she could learn how to market a club and market her own business. Where are they looking for these things? Because that's where you need to be. If you are trying to market your Toastmasters club, and these people over here are looking for these things, where are they looking? Well, that's where we need to be. So I hope that makes sense. If I'm looking for a career boost, I might be looking for career advice. I might be looking for why is presentation skills, why is that so important to an entrepreneur, for example? Or what benefits am I going to get from socializing with Toastmasters? Or where can I find a place to socialize? So they're going to go onto the internet, obviously, but where are they going to go? So here is the definition of marketing. It's just a quick and dirty definition, not really a definition. Marketing is about how do I make the phone ring, and sales is about converting those guests into members. Marketing and sales are completely different fields. They both have something to do with getting customers in. One is finding those customers and attracting them and bringing them into our organization. And the sales is converting those guests into members. In our world, we convert guests into members. In the commercial world, we try to convert leads into or prospects into customers, right? But now here is something very, very interesting. Ed Tate, world champion of public speaking, he and Craig Valentine did a workshop that I attended the one time. Very, very interesting. And Ed and Craig say, and they're quite right, 60% of your business comes from existing customers. So we know in Toastmasters we're going to lose 40% of our members this year. That's just what's going to happen. If you're lucky and you work hard, maybe you can prevent some of those people from leaving, but pretty much you're going to lose 40%. 8 of your members out of 20 will leave you. So you can either think that's quite depressing, or you can think this is an opportunity. You see, you must remember that Toastmasters is quite a difficult thing for people to do. It's quite a lot of work to prepare a speech every week. Here you are at 8 o'clock or 8:45 at night on a Wednesday night attending a webinar. So it takes quite a lot of time commitment, and some people aren't really prepared for that time commitment, or it just doesn't suit them anymore, or they have a baby, or they get married, or they move away, or they get bored. Whatever it is, whatever their reasons is, people will leave. So 60% of your business comes from existing customers. And if you think about your own business, that's true. If you think about where do you shop at the same shops every week. You go to the same fast food places every week. You buy the same clothes every time you buy clothes. You go to the same shopping center. So those businesses are getting their business from their existing customers. Now, 30% of our business comes from what they call warm introductions. So that's, I know a guy. So why are you on this webinar, for example? Some of you know me. Some of you don't know me. But you've been introduced by somebody who knows me. Frank said, come to this thing. And he said, Erich's quite good at this. And I'm a past district governor. And so you think, okay, I've heard of him. So that's marketing. If you come here and you've never met me, then you are the 30% of the people who are a warm introduction. But if you look at the guest list, have a look at the guest list. I've met Frank. I've met Alison. I've met Andrew, Fatima, Khao, Jacobus. I've met twice. Linda, I haven't met, but I've spoken to her on the telephone. Now, Naledi, I haven't met. But Naledi, or have I met you? I think I met you the one time, right, Naledi? So everybody on this call is already a customer of mine. Isn't that interesting? Every single person here. So what made you come on this call? Well, you saw me in action somewhere. You saw me in action probably against your will. You came to a meeting and I was at the meeting. You went to a club officer training. Certainly Jacobus went to a club officer training and I was presenting. And so you think, okay, well, look, this guy seems reasonably sensible. I'll come along, right? And only 10% of our customers, and on this call, nobody, only 10% of our customers come off the street. But if you think about it, where do we focus most of our efforts? We focus most of our marketing efforts to people we've never met before, people who've never heard of us. So where should we be focusing our effort. We should be focusing our effort on this 30% of warm introductions and the 60% of the people who are already our customers. Now, that's not very useful because the 60% of our members aren't enough. I've got 12 to 15 members. We need 20 in our club. So to market to my existing members is not hell of a useful. But still, that leaves us with this 30% here. And those 30% are going to be the warmer introductions, the people that we've had some kind of contact with. And fortunately for us at Toastmasters, people come into our club all the time. And our job tonight is to try and encourage people to come into our club. Because once somebody has come into the club for the first time, chances are they'll come in a second time. Jacobus met me the first time at club officer training last year in July. And he saw me again last Saturday in Pretoria. And now he's thinking, okay, now he's going to invest his own time. The other ones, well, he had to go because he's a club officer. Now he's investing his own time. Linda spoke to me once. We had quite a good conversation a year ago. But she's thinking, okay, I actually need the help. And I know this guy. He seemed sensible the last time I spoke to him. So you've bought from me once. And so now here you are buying from me again, if you think about it like that. Now, when it comes to marketing, the most important thing is targets. The most important thing, obviously, is knowing who your audience is. And the second most important thing is knowing what they want. And then we can find out where they are or where they go to find what they want, and then we can be there. But our job here as Toastmasters, as club leaders, is to say we want to try and sign up one new member per meeting. Now, that's what Melrose Arch is doing. Why is it so important to sign up one new member per meeting? That means you'll sign up 20 members this year, and well, you won't, because you can't actually achieve one new member per meeting. If you sign one new member per meeting, you might sign one member per month. And if you sign one new member per month, that means you'll lose 8, but you'll gain 12. And if you gain 12 members, then you've had a net growth of 4 members for the year, which is not bad. 20% growth. So that's what you need to do. You need to aim to sign one new member per meeting. Every single meeting, try and sign that person up. All right, so let's have a look. Marketing 101. Who is your target market? The second question is, what are they looking for? The third question is, where are they looking for that thing? And that's where you have to be. And our job now is to warm the people up, to try and get that 10% into the 30%, and then that 30% will become our 60%. I'm now going to go through 7 ways of doing that. And I'm going to start off. Is everybody comfortable? Can I keep going, or does somebody want to say something? I'm going to take 3 questions now quickly. I've got one to say keep going. All right, so now I'm going to keep going. Cool. I'm going to give you 7 tips. And some of these tips I got from Lance Miller, world champion of public speaking in 2000. And some of them I've expanded on. So I've expanded on some of the stuff that he shares. Now, Lance, as you know, Lance ran a club that had 90 members, top 10 club in the world. So he certainly knows a thing or two. The first thing is your internet presence. So this is just hygiene factors. If you don't have these things, then this is where you have to start. You have to have a Facebook page. If you don't have a Facebook page, you're not in the game. Everybody's on Facebook. And the beautiful thing about Facebook is you can issue Facebook invitations. And you should issue Facebook invitations to your meetings. If you don't have a Facebook, or even if you do, you can have a website. So Melrose Arch has in fact got a website. It's melrosearch.co.za, I think. We've actually got our own website. And then we also use Meetup. Now, Meetup is a fantastic thing. I think it's meetup.com. We're in Division L, so we are part of Johannesburg North Toastmasters, and Meetup actually has Johannesburg North Toastmasters. The most important thing for these things is to write a headline, that is interesting. So you do not want to write, come to our Toastmasters Club, because nobody cares about your Poxy Toastmasters Club. Remember, they are not looking for Toastmasters. So this is what you shouldn't be doing. Please don't write, come to our Toastmasters Club, because that is not a good headline. It's not a good headline because people are not looking for your Toastmasters Club. They are looking for a mid-career boost. They are looking for a social life. They are not looking for a Toastmasters club. So what our VPPR did at the time, very interesting, he just took, it's not a very radical idea. All he did was he took the titles from the manual. And so the headline that he gave the one time was, Aibo. What's it called? Get to the point. So that was the headline he gave to the meetup group. Get to the point. And this we got a new member from that headline because somebody thought, yeah, I could learn how to speak, but actually I've got a big problem with getting to the point. Another one might be your body speaks, and somebody might think, wow, I need to go there because I'm going to learn about body language. Can you see? It's not a particularly clever headline. All they did was they took it straight out of the manual. But it's much better than come to our Toastmasters Club because it's not talking about them. An interesting headline talks about them. It doesn't talk about us. It doesn't talk about me, 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 me. So I always tell this joke. I always say, women, if you've ever been on a date with a guy, have you ever been on this date? You go on a date, he's got a nice car, it's clean, he's dressed beautifully, he brings you flowers, he pitches up 5 minutes late, so you've got enough time to get ready. He opens the door for you. You go to the restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant. There's white tablecloths. There's flowers. The lights are low. It's beautiful. And he says, this is how much money I earn, and this is what car I drive, and this is how important I am, and this is who I know, and I know the president of this, and I know the sportsman of this, and this is how clever I am, and this is how rich I am, and this is how rich all my friends are, and this is where I go on holiday. Do you give that guy a second chance? No. Typically, you don't give that guy a second chance because it's all about me, 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 me. So then I always say, guys, have you ever been on a date and you thought it went really well and you never heard from her again? It's because you speak about yourself too much. Talk about your date. And in the same way, we have to talk about our dates. We have to talk about our target market, these guys. Who are they? What are they looking for? And a headline like this gives them what they're looking for. There's also a domain called tmclub.coza. So there's lots of clubs that are, for example, that are .tmclub.coza. I administer that domain and I give that free to any club who wants a website. They can have a tmclub.coza website. So, for example, your club might be Melrose Arch.tmclub.coza, and you can have that free of charge, that domain. And then, of course, there's easyspeak.org. We at Melrose Arch use easyspeak.org to run our meetings. We find that we're just starting with it, and so that's another resource that you can use. So number one is internet presence. Number two, keep in touch. Email is the obvious one. So Lance Miller tells a wonderful story about a woman who arrived, and they always say, well done, thank you for coming. What made you come? She said, well, I came 8 years ago. I said, you came 8 years ago? Yeah, I came 8 years ago. I've been getting your emails. You've been getting our emails? Yeah, I came 8 years ago. I liked it. I've been getting your emails all this time, but now my son's just written matric last year, so now I'm back in the market, and now I've decided I'm going to come to your meeting again. So because they sent an email out every single week, she was getting these emails every single week, and because of that, she came back to the club. So the email is an incredibly important thing. We collect emails. We actually haven't been sending it out. Our VPPR left the country. She's gone to New Zealand. And so that's fallen through the cracks a little bit. But we've got a new VPPR now who just started this year. So we're starting again with the email. We use MailChimp. And we started with a WhatsApp group. I think I spoke about it at Division A Toastmasters. And she sends photographs out of the meeting to the WhatsApp group because of FOMO, fear of missing out. Another thing that you can do is the Google Calendar. So we've got a Melrose Arch Google Calendar, and that's important because people can subscribe to the Google Calendar, and we can put our events on that Google Calendar. And then finally, there's flyers. Now, you can go to toastmasters.org, and you can see all sorts of amazing flyers. So I downloaded some for you. You can get them in black and white and in color, and you can get them in A4 or the American size. So here's one. This is a black and white one. It's called Save the Date. And there you can see it. Save the date, when, where, more information. Again, I don't like it because it says, here's an open house one. It's not talking about the members, right? It's just talking about Toastmasters. But this is a better one. Join us for an open house to gain confidence and find your voice. So you can use this as a template. You don't actually have to use it exactly as it is. You can use it as a template. These photographs, by the way, are available from Toastmasters.org under marketing resources, official photographs that you can get, and you can use. You can download these brochures. The third one is special events. Now, Lance Miller says nobody knows what Toastmasters is, but everybody knows what cheese and wine is. Nobody knows what Toastmasters is. Nobody wants to go to a Toastmasters meeting, but everyone wants to go to a Valentine's Day meeting or a Halloween meeting. Some ideas that he gives us are have a guest speaker. We do that sort of 2 or 3 times a year. Douglas Kruger is often keen to speak. I'll speak. If you want me to speak, I'll speak. I can speak on leadership. I can speak on innovation. You know, I've got a consulting firm, and we do this professionally. So I've got really good keynotes about all of these things. What Lance says is have a video evening where you show past international speech contests. You see, the nice thing about these things, and even your own speech contest, invite people to your speech contest, make an event, make a special event out of it. And the reason these things work is because a guest doesn't feel like they have to speak. There's nothing more terrifying than going to a place and thinking, shit, I'm going to be on stage, they're going to make me speak, and I'm going to be terrified, and I can't do it, and I don't know how these guys do it. So this just takes the pressure off. You can have a special work event. You know, we actually meet inside a corporate office park, so we could do a special work event and say, for the graduate engineers, come downstairs, and you know, we can do a special event around, say, time management, for example. And then finally, Toastmasters International runs a contest every month, and they reward the best video of a meeting. So if you shoot a video and you shoot your friends, or you shoot the members at the meeting, and you say, what did you get out of this meeting? Why do you like Toastmasters? You can enter that to the Toastmasters contest, and there's some prizes that your club can win. And of course, we would love to have that on our YouTube account. Toastmasters74.org has got a YouTube account, and we'd love to see it. If you invite people to the speech contest, let them judge. Now, obviously, they're not going to judge, right? In fact, they're not allowed to judge in the international speech contest. And in any other speech contest, they're not allowed to judge because they're not Toastmasters. But give them a judging form. So the principles of adult learning go like this. It's important to give people a handout or a takeaway. That's one of the reasons I made this presentation, because everybody on the call feels they're getting more value because they can see, okay, Erich's put a bit of effort in, there's a bit of a takeaway, and I promise you at the end of the call, people will be saying to me, Erich, can you send us the presentation? Now, out of the 15 people on the call, one of you might read it. But when I send it to you, you're going to feel, oh, I got value. So give them a judging form. And it makes it much more fun because they can judge, they can fill in the form if they want to, but they can just see the contest in a different light because they realize that there are criteria, and it just gives them something to talk about during the recess. And it makes them involved. And I'm going to talk a little bit about involvement in a moment. Tip number 5, have high energy meetings that are run professionally. Lance Miller says, our best marketing is the meeting itself. He says most meetings don't start on time, they don't end on time, and most meetings, the beginning, the middle bit, is a waste of time. Toastmasters needs to be a contrast. If you think about what a Toastmasters club is, what is a Toastmasters club? If you think about a Toastmasters club, is it the members? Well, yeah. Is it a CC program? Yeah, okay. It's a CC program. What is a Toastmasters club? A Toastmasters club, is it a place where people can come? Sure. A Toastmasters club is 20 meetings a year. And a successful Toastmasters club is 20 successful meetings a year. How do I know it's successful? It's got 20 people at the meeting. It's got 4 speeches on the meeting. It's got table topics, and you sign 1 member per meeting. If you run a high energy meeting, and if you run it professionally, then people will join your club. I promise you. It happens to us all the time. So your best marketing is, in fact, the high energy meeting that is professionally run. And that leads me to table topics. When I was chatting to Richard Rich before we launched Greenside Toastmasters, the two of us sat down and thought, now what is the best Toastmasters club in the world? If we were to design the best Toastmasters club in the world, what would it have? And Richard said, it has to be fun. If it's not going to be fun, no one's going to come. And I said, that's wonderful, Richard, but how do we know people are having fun? And what we worked out was people have fun when they get involved. That is why I'm going to go skip back here. At the speech contests, give them a judging form and a pen, let them judge. They're going to judge for themselves, right? But then they're feeling involved. They feel like they're part of the meeting. Table topics is the way to get everybody to speak. And routinely, what will happen is a guest will win the table topics of the evening. Not because we feel sorry for them, but because they had the courage to speak. And in fact, they do a brilliant job mostly. And so then they get the trophy for best table topics. And of course, then they want to join. And so get them involved. So tip number 6 is table topics. But I suppose it's proxy. This table topics is not really table topics. It's look for opportunities in the meeting to get the guests talking. You know, you can make them an counter, which is a bit of a tough ask, but you can do that. That's an easy role for a guest to fill if you're a bit short. Tip number 7, you've got to give them a guest pack. I strongly believe in this. Now, a lot of people say, don't bother about the guest pack because, let's face it, no one is joining a club for the guest pack. But it goes back to what I was saying just now. If you walk into a place and you get a gift of a guest pack, what we do is we give them a guest pack in an envelope. So it's a little A5 guest pack, half an A4, and we put it in an envelope. And we put a simplified sign-up form in there, and we put a little brochure about our club, and we put it in an envelope and we give it to them. Then they're opening it. It's like they're opening a present. And now we've given them something. And now they feel like they've got to give us something back. And that something is their attention. And that something also might be a filled-in form and an invoice. So what we do is I've got the invoicing app on my phone. We use, it's free of charge. It's a thing called Wave. Unbelievable service. Doesn't cost a thing. You can set it up. It takes about half an hour to set up. You can put your logo there. You can put the Toastmasters logo there. You can put your club name there. You can put your club bank details, and you can send them an invoice there and then. We've got a little sheet of paper that goes around to collect people's phone numbers for the WhatsApp group. We've got manuals available for instant purchase. If somebody signs up, we can immediately sell them a manual. But make sure the brand is correct. And the brand guidelines are available on the Toastmasters website. Why do I say that? Because we spent a lot of money as Toastmasters International on this brand, and it's a very powerful brand. And what you're doing is every single club is delivering that brand promise. And that means that when they see Toastmasters International branding somewhere else, and they come to your club, you are actually benefiting from them seeing that brand elsewhere. If you go traveling and you go to a tiny little village somewhere, you go into a little shop and you open the fridge and there is a Coca-Cola. You don't have to worry about what is this. You know that it's a Coca-Cola. You can trust the brand because you've seen it before, you've experienced it before. And that little shop in the middle of nowhere is benefiting from the power of that brand. Can you imagine if every time you went to a different place in the country, you open a fridge and there's cool drinks that you've never seen before? It might say Coke, but you wouldn't believe it. You'd think, oh, I don't know if I want to buy this. So make sure the branding is correct. And I mean, look at how professional this presentation looks because I'm using the right branding and the right fonts. Now, here's a bonus tip. We in our club use those ballot forms. You can get them from the Stuck Custodian. They're a long strip of paper and they're perforated. And then you can leave little comments for each speaker. And and you can also vote for the best speaker of the evening. So we make extensive use of those. We give everybody a piece of paper like that, and then we get them to vote at the end of the evening for the best table topic speaker and the best speaker of the evening. and the best evaluator. And then we collect those ballots. And what we do is, obviously, once we've got the winning ballots, we can announce the winner. But anybody whose name is on that piece of paper, we give back to that person. So if Joe Bloggs is in the meeting, and I've got a piece of paper there that says Joe Bloggs was the best speaker, it doesn't matter that 20 people voted for Frank Tsuro as the best speaker. It doesn't matter. The fact is one person voted for Joe Bloggs, and I'm going to give Joe Bloggs that piece of paper back. Now that person is going away from the meeting with a piece of paper that says best speaker, Joe Bloggs, with his name on it. And all of a sudden he's thinking, wow, he's feeling special. And of course he's having fun. So that's a little bonus tip that's really worked very, very well. So the last tip I've got is follow up. Make sure that you've put those people on the WhatsApp group. Make sure that you've sent them the invoice. We just send them immediately the invoice. Make sure that you're following up with those people and you're inviting them to the next meeting. And in that way, you're starting to get these people in. I'm going to say one thing. It's now February, nearly March, but between now and the end of the year, I think what you can do is run one special event and have a target. Try to sign up 5 people for that special event. Rosebank Business Breakfast Toastmasters Club at the moment is running a launch meeting tomorrow. They've been punting it for a couple of weeks. They've got beautiful flyers out. They've got a beautiful program. They're packing that event in. They will sign up 5 people, no question. Our club, Melrose Arch, we're running a Valentine's Day event on Tuesday. And we've got flyers. We've marketed the meeting. And we'll definitely get people we haven't got there before. Nobody knows what Toastmasters is. Everybody knows what Valentine's Day is. Bring a friend, bring a lover. In fact, bring 2. Bring your wife and girlfriend. Why not? So that's what I've got for you. And my final question is, which one of these secrets will help your club to get to 20 members this year by the end of the Toastmasters year? So I'm going to recap the tips. Would you like me to do that? I'll just recap them quickly. The first one is make sure that your internet presence is right. You need to be on Facebook at the very least. Meetup is a fantastic resource. Meetup.com takes no time at all. Go there, sign up, and make sure that you're using the right headlines. Get a website and use easyspeak.org. Number 2, keep in touch with the people, because the more you keep in touch, the warmer they become, and they go from the 10% into the 30%, and the 30% they turn into the 60%. So the more you keep in touch, the better. Here are some ways that we use. Email, very, very powerful. The WhatsApp group, to give people that sense of FOMO, fear of missing out. And then you post those photos on the Facebook page. And then you invite people to like your Facebook page. And people think, wow, these people are having fun. Tip number 3, run a special event. Run a special event before the end of June. You've got time. And here are some ideas. Here are 6 ideas that you can use to run a special event. A guest speaker, use videos of past speech contests. Run your own speech contest, invite people to your speech contest, and let the visitors and the guests judge. Now, obviously, they can't judge officially, but it gives them a sense of being involved. Tip number 5, make sure that every single meeting, as Sandra Cooper says, is an epic event, because a successful Toastmasters Club is basically 20 successful meetings, and a successful meeting is a professional meeting with high energy. Tip number 6, table topics. Make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak, because that's what they're there for. They are going to feel very uncomfortable, but when they leave that meeting, they're going to feel, wow, I conquered my fear. It's a very inspirational thing. I conquered my fear. I stood up, I spoke. People clapped when I spoke. It's a huge thing for somebody who's never been to a Toastmasters meeting. They stood up, they spoke for 20 seconds. People clapped. Maybe they even won the prize for the night. They love it. Number 7, give them something they can take home with them. They might never read it, they might never look at it, but they feel like they've got something of value. I give out a little thing with our guest pack, how to give an impromptu speech. You know, it can be anything, but I give them a little guest pack, which I can also send you if you want. We make sure that there are manuals available for purchase. We can have a snap scan at the meeting to make invoicing easier or payment easier. We make sure the invoices are quick. We also use a simplified sign-up form, which I'll also send you if you want to, because the sign-up forms are hard. And so what we do is we just say, what's your name and address? And we work out the price. We write in the price, and then they sign it. Then they don't have to write that three-page form. We've got what we need. We've got their name and address and phone number, and we can fill in the form at our leisure later, and we can send it to Toastmasters or keep it for our records. Bonus tip, make sure that they feel special by using those special ballots. And then finally, follow up. I'm going to take some questions now quickly. How am I doing for time?
Good evening, Eric. Penny from Swakopmund. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, Eric, I'm from Swakopmund. I would like to add something, if I may, regarding the falling off of members.
Yes. I'm listening.
Brunt from Westhuizen, which is also on tonight, have started a very successful, I'm the VPE at Swakopmund, just to give you an idea.
Yes.
And he have started a membership program where we get all new members must join the program, where we assist them with at least the first 3 or 4 speeches. Now that has got an impact of creating competition, and it creates also the want to succeed, because your first 3 speeches is where the guys fall off.
And you know, what you're saying there is very important, because one of the requirements for one of the CLs, the ALs, is to coach people through that meeting. So make sure that you're also recording that coaching. It's incredibly important. The other thing is that if you're coaching them, then you're also following up with them, right? I know lots of clubs who won't even take your money until you've given your first speech, because they want to see what your commitment is like, because they don't want to sign you up just to see you leave later. So I think that's incredibly important. And once again, Brent, it just underlines the fact that people need to feel involved. So, and they need to feel like they're getting value from the program. And there you're giving them value, you're making them friends, you're giving them that support. Awesome, awesome idea. Well done. I think that's very, very a good point.
But Eric, the tip I want to make, if I can speak for 1 minute, the tip I want to give you is the success of the mentorship program was that it had to be held every week or every second week. So you had to have 1 meeting before every club meeting, so that you can assist them with not only preparing for speeches. Mentorship is not teaching them to speak. Mentorship is allowing them to make mistakes, for them to get themselves to start speaking on their own trend, and then assisting them.
Absolutely right. So it's that coaching.
So what
coaching
we did is,
process, yeah.
Yes, but it's a more mentorship than, more mentorship and coaching than actually teaching.
For sure.
It is more, we created a WhatsApp group for all the new guys. Once you get to speech 5 or 6, then you can become the mentor.
Absolutely.
And you can be, and you get given a mentor, and that is how you can go through the process, and that helps you prevent. I don't say we will lose 40% or we will lose 30%. I don't want to put a figure to it, but because Swakopmund is small, we've got 40,000 people in Swakopmund. That means we've got a very small percentage of the apple or of the pie to bite on, if you understand that.
Yes, but what's nice about that, Brent, is that you've got an opportunity. You've got an opportunity to really raise your game, and you know, people in those towns, those kind of small towns, are often, they're really looking for something to do, something that they can grow. And here's a world-class organization, and quite frankly, it sounds like you're doing an awesome job. I want to join your club now. So, and I'm not even in Namibia. Okay, great. Who else wants to have a go? Thank you for that, Brent.
It's Penny speaking. It was Brunt. Brunt is my VPE.
Sorry. All right, sorry, I cocked that up. Who else would like to say something? Which of these tips really spoke to you that you think, wow, I'm going to really apply that tip?
Njabulo here.
Yes.
For me, one stood out was Meetup, or just internet presence as a whole. I don't think we utilize it enough. And so it's something that I'll definitely encourage in my two clubs, Polokwane and KPMG, that I'm a member of. One that I can attest to that has really worked for me was follow-up. So I generally follow up with people and I try to make it personal. And one particular person, it took 2 years of constant follow-up before they actually joined as a member. And by the time they joined, I'd even given up on them joining because they kept on saying they were joining, but I never stopped following up. So they eventually joined, and for me, it spoke about, the impact of following up. So yeah, I think I got reminded of
So
that as well.
Lance Miller, the world champion of public speaking, okay, has made a career out of speaking and leading. Toastmasters has transformed his life. He's a world champion of public speaking in one of the strongest clubs in the world. It took him 10 years to win his club contest. That's how strong his club was. And do you know what happened to him? They invited him to join Toastmasters 8 different times. And he just said,
Wow.
yeah, whatever. And eventually he said, look, firstly, I want you to stop bugging me about this. But secondly, it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. Let me come and see what it's like. But it took 8 invitations for him to join, transformed his life, and it's transforming our life because he's made this stuff available, and we're using some of the information that some of his wisdom, and that would not have been possible unless somebody like you, Njabula, had followed up with him. So I think that's also incredibly important. Thank you. Fatima.
Hi, Erich.
So let Fatima go first.
Thanks, Erich. Mine is more of a question than a comment. Initially, when you started the conversation, you said people join for different reasons. Some join for social reasons, some join for professional speaking. People join for different reasons. My question is, you try and target certain people. Do you try and tap into each of those reasons, or you try to more tailor it for a specific reason? So do you target every reason, or do you say our club will be known for being fun and for professional speakers?
So that's what you do. You want
Basically, that's my
your
question.
club. You see, if you can't be everything to everybody. So our club is a community club, but it's not actually for people who live at Melrose Arch. It's for people who work at Melrose Arch who come after work. So we've got a slightly different. It's going to be more. We meet in a boardroom. We've got projection facilities. We've got sound facilities. It's a boardroom, so it's more professional, right? So it would be silly for us to try and attract more community people. It's just not. It doesn't work like that. So play to your strengths. Play the best. Your most powerful weapon is to know yourself as a club. What is best for us? What are we known for? What is our strength? And then you can attract those people to your club. And if all our clubs did that, then there would be a club for everybody. But not all clubs are for everybody necessarily. Does that make sense at all?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Gawa, your turn, and then Yaku. Jacobus, sorry.
Hi, Erich. Hi, thank you very much for the presentation. What stood out for me was when you talk about that tagline that is you focused as opposed to Toastmasters focused.
Very important.
It actually speaks to selling the benefits as opposed to selling the product, because people want to know what is it need for them. I think that for me was the highlight of the day. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Gawa. Very, very important. In the 1980s, when I was in advertising, they would say, sell the sizzle, not the steak. You know, I always say this. I said, it doesn't matter what you buy. It doesn't matter what you buy. You're only ever buying one thing, and that is the promise of a hope of a better future. You can buy a cup of coffee or you can buy a car. The only thing you ever buy is the promise of a better future. So don't sell the coffee. Don't sell the car. Sell the better future. Craig Valentine, you know, he says that. He says he went to 2 different car dealerships, and the first one was, this is the car, it's a beautiful car. And the second one was, oh, you're young, you are, I can see you're young, and you're, you know, young and single and ready to mingle, as he puts it. You're going to look really good in that car. And so he bought the car. because the salesman realized he didn't want a car. He wanted to look good so that he could attract girls. And then Valentine says, and he lied. He says, I was lonely in that car. It was just me and my repayment. Jacobus. Jacobus, you're on. I can't hear you. Okay, so Jacobus has decided he doesn't want to say something. All right, so I hope that was useful. It's now 21 minutes past 9, so I'm very aware of the fact that we're 6 minutes over time. Oh, I'm sorry, Jacobus. Do you want to just type your message there quickly? And then we'll take this last thing. Yes, please leave me some comments in the chat window so that I can get some feedback on how you responded to this. And then, Jacobus, do you want to ask that question on the keyboard? Do you want to just type the question to us and I can address it? I'll just give Jacobus a few moments to do that. Any other feedback? I say Fatima says thank you, very useful. So thank you for that, Fatima. I appreciate that.
Eric, while nobody is speaking, may I ask you a question on tonight? Again, Penny from Swakopmund. Your presentation, I've sent you WhatsApps on that and email addresses. Is there a possibility that we maybe get copies of the presentation to send it through to our clubs and give that as educationals, as part of our club educationals?
So I'm reluctant to say do it as an educational, because educationals actually should be Toastmasters educationals. So, you know, do something out of the Successful Clubs series or something like that. But certainly at your committee meeting, share this with your committee meeting. But the presentation itself is not very useful. I think go through the presentation with them and make it your own. And then that way, as you teach it or as you share the information with your committee, then more things will occur to you, and your committee will realize will get the benefit out of it. So I think it's probably more useful for a committee than an actual club meeting. Penny,
I understand that. The question, maybe I put it wrong. Can we maybe get the information, because I've tried to screenshot some of the stuff?
Oh, no,
because I want to incorporate it.
Email me.
Okay, I've sent you a WhatsApp. Will you reply on that?
Yes. If you send me your email address, and I'll email you the presentation. I'll email it to Frank, and Frank can make it available. It's really not a big problem. Really not. I mean,
thank you so much.
No, of course.
We love the meeting tonight.
Okay. So I want to close now quickly. There you go. So Jacobus says the thing that stood out for him was the need to target potential members based on the culture of the club instead of trying to do a blank mail shot. Absolutely right. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to close now. So does somebody want to say something before I close? Frank, do you want to say something before I close? Because I want the last word.
Just say thank you to you and everyone that took time to be on this call. I hope it was useful, and you will see the results and grow your club experiences. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Frank. So I want to say, thank you, Frank. I want to say the following thing. Toastmasters changes lives. We know that because it's changed our life, right? And the reason it changes lives is because somebody started a club that is close to where we could meet on an evening that was convenient to us. And through the years, those clubs are still going. So Melrose Arch Toastmasters started on a Tuesday night, and it's still going 5 years later, and that is now a convenient club for me to join. And that means that it can change my life. But the only way we can really change our lives, and then by extension our members' lives, is if we run the club well. Lance Miller says, being a president or being a leader in a Toastmasters club is not something you have to do. This is something you get to do. So I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to say to you, how can you use these last 4 or 5 months of the Toastmasters year to really make your mark on your Toastmasters club? What can you do to really accelerate and professionalize your Toastmasters club? Pick 1 or 2 of these things. And I say your mission, if you choose to accept it, is not only to professionalize and make your club even better than it is now, but to run one event where you use 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or even all 8 of these tips, and you use it and you run that event and you sign up 5 members. That would really make my heart glad. But much more important, if you did that, you will see how your committee will come together because it's a team building exercise. And you will also see how your members respond because of the energy that you're putting in. So, guys, it's a privilege always to be on a call like this with so many leaders across the world, across our continent, committed to the excellence in their own clubs and in their own lives and in their members' lives. It's always a privilege. I am always available on Penny, on WhatsApp, on email. And if you ever need anything from me, just ask.